Some people are loud. And some people make your heart quiet. You do not feel tired around them. You can simply breathe. There are people who make silence uncomfortable. And there are people who make silence feel safe. As we grow older, we slowly learn the difference. When we are young, we often think relationships must be exciting. We think love must be loud. Late-night conversations. Constant messages. Always being together. But life changes us quietly. After enough crowded days. After enough difficult goodbyes. We begin to long for something softer. Peace becomes rare. And the people who give us peace become unforgettable. Sometimes, the best person in your life is not the funniest person, not the smartest, not the most impressive. Sometimes, it is simply the person who lets you rest. Some people ask many questions. Others quietly stay beside you. And somehow, that is enough. You do not need to explain yourself around them. You do not need to pretend your heart is lighter than it really is. Silence becomes gentle in their presence. Even ordinary evenings begin to feel warm. A cup of coffee slowly growing cold on the table. A quiet walk under streetlights after the rain. The sound of pages turning in the same room. Looking outside the window together. While the night quietly settles around you. Nothing extraordinary happens. But your breathing becomes softer. These people do not rush your healing. They do not turn every sadness into advice. Sometimes, they simply listen while you search for the right words. And sometimes, they sit beside you quietly, allowing the silence to speak instead. That kind of presence can comfort a tired heart more deeply than long conversations ever could. Life becomes exhausting after a while. Too many noises. Too many expectations. Too many days spent trying to become the version of ourselves the world wants to see. So when we finally meet someone who allows us to be completely ourselves, our heart remembers the feeling immediately. Like entering a warm room. After walking alone in the cold for a long time. Maybe that is why quiet people remain in our memories longer. Not because they were dramatic, but because they were gentle. Because they made life feel softer. Even for a little while. And in a world that constantly asks us to hurry, softness becomes something unforgettable. Maybe love is not always passion. Maybe real comfort is simply feeling safe beside someone. Maybe maturity is choosing people who bring calm instead of confusion. People who do not make us anxious. People who do not make us prove our worth. People who stay even when life becomes difficult. The older we become, the more we begin to treasure quiet things. Gentle voices late at night. Warm lights in familiar rooms. Slow evenings with nowhere else to be. Soft conversations that leave our hearts feeling lighter. And people who make silence feel peaceful instead of lonely. As life becomes more complicated, we slowly begin to understand something important. Happiness is not always excitement. Sometimes, happiness is calm. It is sharing a quiet meal at the end of the day. It is hearing someone softly say, "Take your time." It is the relief of knowing that you do not have to pretend to be strong all the time. Not every relationship will stay. Not every person will understand us. But once in a while, we meet someone who feels like a quiet room with the light on. After a long and exhausting day, someone who lets our tired heart breathe again. And perhaps, that is one of the greatest comforts in life. To find a person who makes silence feel warm. The best people are not always the loudest. Sometimes, they are simply the ones who let your heart rest. Silent comfort.